The United States is a nation on edge, teetering on the brink of a pivotal moment in its history. As the final days of the 2024 presidential election tick by, the sense of urgency grows more palpable with each passing second. Tension hangs heavy in the air, a collective anxiety that can be felt in every corner of the nation. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are locked in a fierce battle for the White House, each rallying their supporters with fervent speeches and promises of a better future. The polls show a razor-thin margin separating the two candidates, making every vote crucial and every state a potential battleground. The nation holds its breath, bracing for what promises to be a historic and potentially tumultuous election, one that could redefine the country's trajectory for years to come. Every rally, every speech, every tweet is meticulously analyzed for any sign of advantage, as both campaigns leave no stone unturned in their quest for victory. The world watches, captivated by the drama unfolding in the heart of the world's most powerful democracy, aware that the outcome will have global repercussions. The stakes couldn't be higher, with the future of policies, international relations, and the very fabric of American society hanging in the balance. The very soul of America seems to hang in the balance, as citizens from all walks of life come together to make their voices heard in this defining moment. Donald Trump, never one to shy away from the spotlight, has returned to his familiar playbook-calculated chaos. This strategy, which has been a hallmark of his political career, is designed to keep both his supporters and detractors constantly on edge, ensuring that he remains the center of attention. He thrives on energy, on the raucous roar of his most ardent supporters. The louder the crowd, the more animated he becomes, feeding off their enthusiasm and channeling it back into his speeches. A recent rally at Madison Square Garden epitomized his strategy. The venue, known for hosting some of the biggest events in the world, was packed to the brim with supporters eager to hear his message. The arena pulsed with a frenetic energy as Trump took the stage. The atmosphere was electric, with chants of "USA, USA" echoing through the halls. His words were a potent mix of fiery rhetoric, attacks on his opponents, and promises to restore America to its former glory. He spoke with conviction, his voice rising and falling in a rhythm that kept the audience hanging on his every word. However, the rally was not without controversy. Outside the venue, protesters clashed with supporters, highlighting the deep divisions that continue to plague the nation. Some of Trump's comments, particularly those aimed at Vice President Harris, drew sharp criticism for being inflammatory and divisive. His words sparked a firestorm of debate, with pundits and politicians weighing in from all sides. Despite the backlash, Trump remains undeterred. He brushes off criticism with a wave and a smile, confident in his ability to weather any storm. His base, energized by his defiance and his promise to make America great again, remains fiercely loyal. They see him as a champion of their values, a leader who is unafraid to speak his mind and take on the establishment. He continues to paint a picture of a nation in decline, a nation teetering on the brink of chaos. His speeches are filled with dire warnings about the future, but also with promises of a brighter tomorrow if his vision is realized. His message resonates with those who feel left behind, those who yearn for a return to a bygone era. They listen intently, hanging on his every word, hoping that he can deliver on his promises and lead them back to what they see as a better time. In stark contrast to Trump's tempestuous approach, Vice President Kamala Harris offers a message of stability and unity. Her campaign events are more measured, more focused on policy, and less on personality. She speaks of healing divisions, of bridging the chasm that has split the nation in two.
My campaign centers around three key pillars: economic reform, social justice, and restoring America's global standing. I promise to build an economy that works for all Americans, not just the wealthy few. I speak passionately about addressing systemic racism and inequality, and I vow to restore America's role as a leader on the world stage, repairing the damage done by the previous administration's isolationist policies.
Looming large over the election is the shadow of January 6th. The attack on the Capitol, a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy, has become a central theme of the campaign. Harris has repeatedly invoked the events of that day, using it as a cautionary tale of what happens when extremism and division are allowed to fester. Trump, for his part, has downplayed the significance of the Capitol riot. He maintains that the election was stolen from him, fueling the anger and resentment that led to the violence. The events of January 6th serve as a stark reminder of the deep divisions that continue to plague American society. Section 5. Immigration takes center stage. Immigration has once again emerged as a flashpoint in the election. Trump, true to form, has taken a hardline stance, promising to build a wall along the southern border and to crack down on illegal immigration. He paints a picture of America under siege, overrun by criminals and undesirables. Harris, in contrast, advocates for comprehensive immigration reform. She speaks of compassion and understanding, emphasizing the contributions immigrants have made to American society. She proposes a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, arguing that it is not only the right thing to do, but also the smart thing to do. Section 6. A League of Endorsements. In this section, we delve into the crucial role that endorsements play in the final stretch of a political campaign. As the election day approaches, the battle for endorsements becomes more intense and strategic. In the final days of the campaign, both candidates are vying for every last vote. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation and urgency, as every handshake, every rally, and every speech could sway undecided voters. Endorsements from high-profile figures carry significant weight, and both Trump and Harris have secured the backing of influential individuals and organizations. These endorsements are not just symbolic. They can mobilize supporters, attract media attention, and lend credibility to the candidates' platforms. Harris has garnered the support of a diverse coalition of politicians, celebrities, and activists. This broad base of support reflects her appeal across different segments of society, from grassroots activists to Hollywood stars. Former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama have both campaigned for Harris, lending their considerable star power to her bid for the White House. Their involvement has energized her campaign, drawing large crowds and extensive media coverage. She has also received the endorsement of several high-profile Republicans who have broken ranks with their party to support her candidacy. This bipartisan support underscores the growing discontent within the Republican Party and highlights Harris's ability to appeal across the political spectrum.
Trump, meanwhile, retains the unwavering support of his base and has received endorsements from several conservative groups and media outlets. These endorsements reinforce his standing among his core supporters and ensure a steady stream of positive coverage from conservative media. However, his appeal seems to be waning among moderate Republicans and independents, who are increasingly turned off by his divisive rhetoric and chaotic governing style. This shift in support could prove pivotal in a closely contested election, as moderate and independent voters often play a decisive role in determining the outcome.
Section 7. The battle for swing states. With the election too close to call, both campaigns are laser-focused on a handful of key swing states. States like Pennsylvania, Florida, and Michigan, which were decided by razor-thin margins in 2016, could once again determine the outcome of the election. Both campaigns have poured resources into these battleground states, blanketing the airwaves with ads and deploying armies of volunteers to knock on doors and make phone calls. The outcome in these crucial states will likely hinge on which candidate can best mobilize their base and persuade undecided voters. Section 8. Every vote a deciding vote. As the clock ticks down to Election Day, the message from both campaigns is clear: every vote matters. With the polls showing a statistical dead heat, the outcome of the election could come down to a handful of votes in a few key states. Get-out-the-vote efforts are in full swing, with both campaigns urging their supporters to make their voices heard. The message is resonating, as early voting numbers have already shattered previous records. The level of engagement is a testament to the high stakes of this election and the deep divisions that exist within American society. Section 9. Trump's closing plea. In the waning hours of the campaign, Trump's message remains largely unchanged.
He continues to paint a dire picture of America's future under a Harris administration, warning of economic ruin, rampant crime, and a socialist takeover. His final plea to voters is a familiar one: only he can save America from itself. He urges his supporters to reject the radical left agenda of the Democratic Party and to embrace his vision of a strong, proud, and prosperous America. His words are a rallying cry to his base, a desperate attempt to cling to power and to stave off what he views as an existential threat to the nation he claims to love.
Section 10. Harris's vision for America. As the campaign draws to a close, Harris's message is one of hope and optimism.
She speaks of a brighter future for all Americans, regardless of their race, religion, or socioeconomic status. She calls on Americans to reject the politics of division and fear, and to embrace a more inclusive and equitable society. Her closing argument centers on her vision for America, a nation where everyone has the opportunity to succeed, where healthcare is a right, not a privilege, and where climate change is addressed with the urgency it deserves. Her words are a beacon of hope in a time of uncertainty, a promise of a better tomorrow.